Black man sacrificed. Future to save stranger. CEO never married. Kept searching. Their delayed love story. Wins hearts worldwide. 32-year-old Vivian Cross stood in her Denver penthouse, staring at the photo she'd carried for 12 years. The image was grainy, pulled from security footage. A young black man, maybe 20, running toward danger while everyone else ran away. The man who'd saved her life and disappeared before she could learn his name. She was supposed to be preparing for tomorrow's board meeting at Crosstech Industries, the AI company she'd built into a billion-dollar empire. Instead, she was doing what she did every October 15th, the anniversary of the accident that should have killed her. "Ms. Cross, your car's here." Her assistant Maya's voice came through the intercom. "The charity gala starts in 30 minutes. Vivian set down the photo. Another gala. Another evening of wealthy people congratulating themselves. Another night of men asking why she'd never married. Women whispering about the Ice Queen CEO who built companies instead of families. What they didn't know, she'd never married because she'd never stopped looking. 12 years of private investigators, facial recognition software, social media campaigns. 12 years trying to find the man who'd destroyed his athletic scholarship, his college future, his entire life to save hers. The accident had been a drunk driver in Boulder. Vivian, 20 years old, heading home from her dorm, T-boned at an intersection. The car flipped, caught fire. She was trapped, unconscious, seconds from burning alive. He'd been jogging past. Track athlete at CU Boulder, preparing for Olympic trials. Instead of running away, he'd run toward the fire, pulled her out before the gas tank exploded. The explosion threw him 20 feet, shattered his right leg in 7 places, ended his athletic career instantly. By the time Vivian woke 3 days later, he was gone. Checked himself out against medical advice. Police had no record. He'd refused to give his name, just kept asking if the girl survived. Security footage showed him limping away, refusing help. 12 years. 12 years of guilt and gratitude and something deeper she couldn't name. "You're staring at that photo again." Her best friend, Rachel Morrison, appeared in the doorway. "It's the anniversary." "I know." Rachel's voice was gentle. "But you have to let this go eventually. Maybe he doesn't want to be found. Or maybe he can't be." Vivian couldn't finish the thought. Dead. Homeless. Destroyed by injuries he sustained saving her. The gala was tedious. Crosstech was being honored for its charitable foundation. Scholarships for underprivileged students. Vivian gave her speech about opportunity and access, thinking about the man who'd lost his own opportunities. "Impressive presentation," a voice said. "Jonathan Webb, tech investor, perpetual pursuer. Dinner this week?" "I'm busy. This week, month, year." "You can't run from connection forever. You've built this empire, but what's it worth if you're alone?" "I'm not alone. I have purpose." She walked away. In the car home, Rachel asked, "Have you considered your search isn't about finding him? Maybe it's about avoiding moving forward?" "That's what my therapist says." And I can't. Not until I know he's okay. Not until I can thank him. Not until I know if what I've been feeling all these years is real or just survivor's guilt. She'd built Crosstech to honor his sacrifice, creating opportunities for students who faced systemic barriers. Every scholarship given was her way of paying forward what she could never pay back. But it wasn't enough. It would never be enough until she found him. That night, alone in her penthouse, Vivian pulled up the private investigator's latest report. Nothing. Again, the man had vanished like smoke, leaving only that grainy security photo and the memory of strong arms pulling her from fire. Somewhere in America, he existed. Or he had existed. And until she knew which, Vivian Cross, billionaire CEO, tech innovator, Forbes 30 under 30, would keep searching. CTA. Hello, the Shade of Love family. So happy you're here. Before we jump into the next part of the story, tell us, where are you watching from? Drop your country and state in the comments. Also, how's the story been so far? We love reading your thoughts. Yes, every single comment. And it really keeps us motivated. Let's aim for 50 comments on this video. Think we can hit it? Your support means the world, so don't forget to comment, share, and keep the energy flowing. Sunday brunch at her parents' Boulder estate meant mimosas and questions Vivian couldn't answer. Her mother, Catherine Cross, arranged flowers with the precision she brought to controlling her daughter's life narrative. Jonathan Webb's mother called. Apparently you've rejected him 3 times this month. Catherine's tone suggested this was unacceptable. He's from an excellent family, very successful. So am I. I don't need his success. You need companionship. You're 32, Vivian. Still unmarried? Still alone? I'm not alone. I run a billion-dollar company. Her father, Thomas Cross, set down the Wall Street Journal. Your mother's concerned about your future. We're concerned. This obsession with finding that man. He saved my life, and you've spent 12 years trying to repay a debt that can't be repaid. Meanwhile, your personal life is non-existent. Thomas's voice was firm. It's time to move on. I have moved on. I built Crosstech from nothing, created opportunities for thousands of students. That's moving on. That's running away, Catherine said. You're using corporate success to avoid emotional intimacy. Every therapist you've seen says the same thing. After brunch, Vivian's younger brother Derek, 28, newly engaged, annoyingly well-adjusted, pulled her aside. They're not wrong, you know. You've turned this guy into an impossible standard. No real man can compete with a hero you've idealized for 12 years. I haven't idealized him. I'm just grateful. You're in love with a ghost. Derek's voice was gentle. Viv, I love you, but this isn't healthy. You need to let him go. Driving back to Denver, Vivian called Rachel. My family thinks I'm crazy. Your family thinks you're avoiding life. There's a difference. Why does everyone assume searching for him means I'm broken? Maybe I'm just loyal. Maybe I'm just someone who pays her debts. Or maybe you're someone who fell in love at 20 with a man who saved your life, and you've never let yourself explore if it was real or just trauma bonding. The words hit hard because Rachel was right. Vivian had been 20, young, terrified, pulled from fire by a stranger. Of course she'd developed feelings. Of course she'd romanticized him. But 12 years? 12 years of searching wasn't trauma bonding. It was something else. That evening, she reviewed Crosstech's latest financials. The company was thriving. Her personal life was a carefully maintained void. She dated occasionally, men who looked good on paper but felt empty in practice. She attended functions alone, gave speeches about success, and went home to that grainy photo. Her phone buzzed. Maya, private investigator wants to meet. Says he might have something. Vivian's heart raced. 12 years of false leads, dead ends, disappointments. But maybe this time. Maybe finally. She texted back. When? Tomorrow. 9 a.m. Vivian barely slept. She'd been through this before. The hope, the anticipation, the crushing disappointment when leads went nowhere. But she couldn't stop hoping. Couldn't stop believing that somewhere he was out there. And she'd find him. The private investigator, Marcus Thompson, sat across from Vivian in her office. He'd been on retainer for 5 years, the latest in a long line of investigators who'd tried and failed to find her hero. I may have something, Marcus said, opening his laptop. Took a different approach. Instead of searching for track athletes or Olympic hopefuls, I searched for medical records. Severe leg injuries, Boulder area, October 2011. Vivian leaned forward. And? Found 17 matches, narrowed it to 3 black males, early 20s at the time. One died in 2015. One's a personal trainer in California with no significant injury history. The third? Marcus pulled up a photo. This is a long shot, but the timeline fits. The photo showed a man working construction. Mid-30s, black. Fit despite a visible limp. The image quality was poor, taken from a distance. Who is he? That's the problem. I can't confirm identity. He doesn't have social media, pays cash for everything, works day labor construction, lives in a boarding house in 5 Points. Marcus looked uncomfortable. Ms. Cross, if this is him, he's deliberately staying off the tour. Grid, can you arrange a meeting? Not without alerting him someone's looking. If he's avoiding discovery, approaching directly might make him disappear completely. Vivian studied the photo. Could this be him? After 12 years, would she even recognize him? The security footage had been so grainy, showing only his determination as he ran toward fire. What's his name? Goes by Malcolm Jones. But I don't think that's real. No records before 2012. Malcolm Jones. Maybe him. Maybe another dead end. I want to see him. In person. Don't approach, just let me see him. Marcus nodded. He works the Stapleton development site. I can get you access as a safety inspector. But Ms. Cross, if this isn't him, you need to consider. Just arrange it. 2 days later, Vivian stood at a construction site, wearing a hard hat and clipboard, feeling ridiculous. Rachel had insisted on coming for moral support. "This is insane," Rachel whispered. "You're a CEO pretending to be a safety inspector to stalk a construction worker who might not even be the right guy." "I'm not stalking. I'm investigating." "That's literally what stalking is." A foreman approached. "You the safety inspector?" "Yes. Just routine checks." Vivian's voice was steadier than she felt. "Well, watch your step. Got some guys working overhead." Vivian scanned the site. Dozens of workers. Where was... Then she saw him, 30 yards away, carrying lumber. Black, mid-30s, with a limp that was barely noticeable unless you knew to look. He moved with practiced efficiency despite the injury. Their eyes met for a split second. He paused, just briefly, then looked away and kept working. Vivian's breath caught. Was that recognition? Or was she imagining it? "That's Malcolm Jones," the foreman said, following her gaze. "Good worker. Quiet. Shows up on time. How long's he been here?" 6 months. We cycle through a lot of day laborers. But Malcolm's reliable. Shame about his leg. Probably could have done more with proper medical care. After the site visit, Rachel drove while Vivian processed. "Was it him? I don't know. Maybe. His eyes, for a second, it felt like he knew me. Or you're seeing what you want to see. Maybe. But Rachel, I have to know. I have to be sure. And then what? You approach him? Offer him money? What's the endgame here?" Vivian didn't have an answer. She'd spent 12 years searching, but she'd never planned what came after finding him. Thank him? Offer restitution? Confess feelings she didn't fully understand? "I just need to know he's okay. That saving me didn't destroy his entire life. And if it did? If he's working construction because his athletic career ended? If he's barely getting by while you're a billionaire because he saved you? How do you fix that?" "I don't know, but I have to try." Vivian returned to the construction site 3 times over 2 weeks, always with some excuse. Each time she watched Malcolm work, trying to reconcile this quiet laborer with the hero from her memory. The 4th time, he approached her directly. "You're not a safety inspector." His voice was measured, careful. Real inspectors don't come back weekly, and they don't stare at specific workers. Vivian's prepared speech evaporated. Up close, she could see his eyes. Warm brown, cautious, and yes, familiar despite 12 years. "I'm looking for someone. Found him yet?" "I think so. Maybe. I don't know." Vivian pulled out the security photo she'd carried for 12 years. October 15th, 2011. Boulder. Car accident. "Do you recognize this?" Malcolm's expression didn't change, but something flickered in his eyes. "No. Please. I've been searching for 12 years. The man in this photo saved my life, pulled me from a burning car, destroyed his leg doing it. I just want to thank him." "Thank him and then what? Offer money? Ease your guilt?" Malcolm's voice was harder now. "Maybe he doesn't want to be found. Maybe he saved someone's life and moved on." "You're him. I know you are. My name's Malcolm Jones. I work construction. I don't know anything about Boulder or car accidents or saving anyone." He started to walk away. "Your leg, the way you move, the injury pattern matches the hospital records." Malcolm stopped, turned back. "You investigated my medical records? That's illegal and invasive. I'm sorry, I needed to know." "Know what? That the guy who saved you is working day labor while you're, what, a businesswoman? A doctor? Someone whose life he saved actually mattered?" The bitterness in his voice was sharp. "Congratulations. You found him. Now leave him alone. It's not like that. I built my company to honor what you did. Every scholarship we give, every opportunity we create, it's because of you. I don't want your charity or your gratitude." Malcolm's voice softened slightly. "Look, whoever you think I am, I'm not that guy anymore. That person died in that explosion. What's left is just someone trying to survive. What's your real name?" Silence. Then, "Cameron. Cameron Wright. Cameron." Vivian tested the name she'd been searching for. "I'm Vivian Cross. I know who you are. Crosstech, the AI company, Forbes lists. You did well." Something in his tone suggested sadness rather than celebration. "Because of you. Because you gave me a future. I gave you 12 more years. What you did with them is on you." Cameron adjusted his hard hat. "Ms. Cross, I appreciate you looking. I do. But I need you to stop. I've built a life here. It's not much, but it's mine. And I can't be your hero. I'm just a guy who made a choice 12 years ago and is living with the consequences. Can we talk? Please, just coffee. One conversation." Cameron studied her face. and Vivian saw years of pain and resignation there. One conversation. Then you leave me alone. Deal? Deal. They met at a diner near the construction site. Cameron arrived. In work clothes, still dusty. Vivian had dressed down, jeans, simple sweater, trying not to emphasize the wealth gap between them. "Why did you disappear?" Vivian asked once they'd ordered coffee. "Because hospitals cost money I didn't have. Because I was on a track scholarship that ended when my leg shattered. Because I didn't want to be the poor black kid who saved the white girl and expected payment." The blunt honesty stung. "I never would have." "I know, but that's how it would have looked. Hero narrative, gratitude, probably some scholarship or fund set up in my name. And I'd spend the rest of my life being that guy who saved someone." Cameron stirred his coffee. "I wanted to be Cameron Wright, Olympic hopeful. Instead, I became Cameron Wright, guy with a shattered leg and no future. Adding hero to that didn't help. So you changed your name, disappeared, started over, figured out what life looked like without running, without the thing that defined me." His voice carried acceptance rather than bitterness. "It's taken 12 years, but I'm okay with who I am now. Are you? Really?" Vivian leaned forward. "Because I've spent 12 years building a company, and I'm not okay. I'm grateful to be alive, but I'm not okay knowing you sacrificed everything for me. That was my choice, not your burden. It's been my burden anyway. Every day, every success, every moment I've had that you didn't get because you saved me." Cameron met her eyes. "Then let it go." "I have." But Vivian saw the lie in his expression. He hadn't let it go. He'd just learned to carry it differently. Over the next 2 weeks, Vivian and Cameron met 3 more times. Always at the same diner, always keeping it casual. He talked about his life, the years of physical therapy he couldn't afford, working odd jobs, finally settling into construction where his limp didn't matter. She talked about building Crosstech, the guilt that drove her, the photo she'd carried for 12 years. "You kept that photo?" Cameron stared at the security image. "Why?" "Because I needed to remember. Needed to know you were real. And now that you found me? Now what?" Vivian had been asking herself the same question. "I don't know. I just know I couldn't keep living without knowing if you were okay. I'm okay. Not rich, not successful, but okay." Cameron's voice was measured. "You can let this go now." But Vivian couldn't, and she was starting to realize why. Rachel confronted her during a late-night work session. "You're falling for him. Or you think you are. I'm grateful to him. Vivian, I've known you 12 years. I've watched you reject every man who's shown interest. Now you find this guy, and suddenly you're meeting him for coffee 3 times a week? That's not gratitude. He saved my life, and you've romanticized him into an impossible standard. But now he's real. He's a construction worker with a limp and a past and complications. Are you in love with the hero from your memory, or with Cameron Wright, actual human?" Vivian didn't have an answer. Her mother certainly had opinions when Vivian mentioned meeting Cameron. "You found him? After all these years?" Catherine's excitement quickly shifted to concern. "What does he want?" "Nothing. He didn't even want to be found." "Then why are you still seeing him?" "Because I need to." "Vivian, be careful. This man could be looking for a payout. You're vulnerable to him because of trauma bonding. Don't confuse gratitude with what? Love?" The word hung in the air. Catherine's expression was pitying. "Sweetheart, you barely know him. You know the hero who saved you. The actual person might be very different." Later, Vivian's therapist asked similar questions. "What are you hoping to get from this relationship?" "I don't know. Closure, maybe? Or maybe you're hoping he'll reciprocate feelings you've been carrying for 12 years. Is that so wrong? It's human, but it's also not based on reality. You fell in love with an idea. A hero, a sacrifice, a moment of valor. Cameron Wright is a real person with his own trauma, his own life, his own needs. Those might not align with your fantasy." That night, Vivian drove past the boarding house where Cameron lived. It was in 5 Points, a working-class neighborhood her mother would call dangerous. The building was old, maintained barely enough to be habitable. This was where her hero lived. This was what his sacrifice had cost him. Her phone rang. "Cameron, stop sitting outside my building. It's creepy. How did you—" "I saw your car." "Vivian, whatever you're thinking, stop. I'm not a charity case. I'm not someone you need to save. I'm not trying to save you." "Then what are you trying to do? Because this, whatever this is, it's not healthy for either of us." "I don't know what I'm doing. I just know that finding you wasn't supposed to feel like this." "Like what?" Like starting instead of ending. Like this is the beginning of something, not closure. Cameron was quiet for a long moment. I can't be what you need me to be. I'm not your hero. I'm just a guy who made a choice 12 years ago and has been paying for it ever since. What if I'm paying for it too? What if we've both been stuck in that moment and finding each other is how we move forward? Or it's how we both keep avoiding real life? Cameron's voice was gentle but firm. Vivian, you're a billionaire CEO. I'm a construction worker living in a boarding house. The gap between us isn't just money. It's worldview, experience, opportunity. I can't be your equal, and I won't be your project. After he hung up, Vivian sat in her car outside his building, crying for the first time in years. Not because she'd found him, because finding him had revealed the truth she'd been avoiding. She was in love with a man whose life she'd inadvertently destroyed, and she had no idea how to bridge the gap between who they'd become. CTA. Hello, the Shade of Love family. So happy you're here. Before we jump into the next part of the story, tell us, where are you watching from? Drop your country and state in the comments. Also, how's the story been so far? We love reading your thoughts. Yes, every single comment. And it really keeps us motivated. Let's aim for 50 comments on this video. Think we can hit it? Your support means the world, so don't forget to comment, share, and keep the energy flowing. Cameron didn't call for a week. Vivian respected the space, though it killed her. Then, Saturday morning, her phone buzzed. Community Center, 10 a.m. If you want to understand my life, come see it. The center was in 5 Points, serving low-income families. Cameron was there coaching youth track. A dozen kids, ages 10 to 15, running drills in worn-out shoes. This is what I do with my Saturdays, Cameron said when he saw her. Can't run anymore myself, but I can teach. Vivian watched him work with the kids. Patient, encouraging, breaking down technique with the expertise of someone who'd once been elite. A young black girl, maybe 12, struggled with her starts. Kendra, you're thinking too much, Cameron said gently. Trust your body. It knows what to do. Easy for you to say. You were almost Olympic. And I'm here now teaching you. That's not failure. That's passing it forward. Cameron demonstrated despite his limp, showing the girl proper form. Excellence isn't about where you end up. It's about what you do with what you have. After practice, a mother approached. Mr. Cameron, thank you. Kendra's grades have improved since she joined track. Having someone believe in her, it matters. She's talented, just needs opportunity. The mother glanced at Vivian. Is this your wife? No, Cameron said quickly. Just someone I know. Later, over lunch at a food truck, Vivian asked, how long have you been coaching? 8 years. Started after physical therapy ended and I realized I wasn't going back to elite running. Figured if I couldn't compete, I could help kids who might. Do any of them know about your past? Some. I don't hide it, but I don't lead with it either. Cameron ate his taco thoughtfully. The thing about sacrifice, Vivian, it only means something if you keep living afterward. If I'd spent 12 years bitter about what I lost, your life wouldn't be worth more than mine. But if I take what happened and build something meaningful, then maybe it meant something. You're not bitter at all? Not even a little? Oh, I was furious for years. Angry at the drunk driver. Angry at myself for running toward fire instead of away. Angry at you for surviving while my dreams died. Cameron's honesty was raw. But anger's exhausting. Eventually, I had to choose. Stay angry or find new purpose. I chose purpose. Teaching these kids. And other things. I volunteer at the shelter. Help elderly neighbors with repairs. Show up for my community. Cameron met her eyes. I'm not the hero you remember. That guy was 20, invincible, heading for glory. I'm 32, limping, working day labor. But I'm also more than that guy ever was. Vivian felt something shift in her chest. You are. You really are. So now you've seen my actual life. Still think you want to be part of it? More than ever. Cameron studied her face. Why? Because you feel guilty? Because you want to fix what you think you broke? Because you're the most genuine person I've ever met. Because you sacrificed your future without expectation of reward. Because in 12 years of searching, I've realized. Vivian stopped, the truth too vulnerable. Realized what? That I wasn't just looking for you to say thank you. I was looking for you because some part of me has been in love with you since I was 20 years old, and you pulled me from fire. Cameron was quiet for a long moment. That's trauma bonding, not love. Maybe it started that way. But 12 years, Cameron. 12 years of searching, of building a company to honor what you did, of rejecting every man because they weren't you. That's not trauma. That's love. You don't even know me. Then let me know the real Cameron Wright. Not the hero, not the sacrifice. Just you. Cameron looked away. What happens when you realize I'm not worth 12 years of searching? When the reality doesn't match the fantasy? What happens when you realize I might be worth more than one heroic moment? That we could actually build something real? They sat in silence, the question hanging between them. News of Vivian and Cameron spread quickly. She'd been spotted at the community center, at the food truck with him. In a city like Denver, where Crosstech was major news, the CEO's personal life became fodder for gossip. Denver billionaire dating construction worker ran in a local tabloid. The photo showed them at lunch, and the caption dripped with judgment. Crosstech's Vivian Cross seems to have found love with an unexpected source. Cameron Wright, 32, works day labor and coaches youth track. Sources say he saved her life 12 years ago. But is this gratitude or genuine connection? Her board noticed. Emergency meeting Tuesday morning. 8 executives staring at Vivian with varying levels of concern. Your personal life is interfering with company image, Jonathan Webb, now a major shareholder, said bluntly. This man, this construction worker, his name is Cameron Wright. This man represents a potential liability. What if he's using you? What if his intention is financial gain? We need to protect Crosstech's reputation. Cameron didn't even want to be found. He's not using me. Then what is this? Some rescue fantasy? Another board member, Patricia Chen, spoke. Vivian, we respect you, but this looks unstable. The Ice Queen CEO suddenly dating a working-class man she's been obsessed with for 12 years? I'm not obsessed. I'm grateful. You've never married, never seriously dated, built an entire company around guilt. And now you're with him? Jonathan leaned forward. This isn't healthy, and it's affecting shareholder confidence. After the meeting, Rachel pulled Vivian aside. They're not entirely wrong. This does look sudden, impulsive. 12 years of searching is not impulsive, but jumping into a relationship with him is. You barely know each other as real people. Vivian's family was worse. Her mother called that evening, voice tight. I've seen the articles. Vivian, this is humiliating. A construction worker? What will people think? That I'm dating someone I care about? That you're having some kind of crisis? That man, Cameron, he comes from nothing. No education, no prospects, no future. You're a CEO. This is completely inappropriate. He's a good person who sacrificed everything for me, which doesn't make him suitable partnership material. Vivian, please, think rationally. This man can't move in your world. You can't move in his. It's impossible. Cameron faced his own pushback. His co-workers whispered. The community center parents looked at him differently. One of his track kids asked, Coach, is it true you're dating a billionaire? We're spending time together, that's all. My mom says rich people don't date poor people unless they want something. Cameron had no response. Because wasn't that true? What did Vivian want from him? Absolution? Romance? The fantasy hero she'd been chasing for 12 years? That Friday they met at a neutral location, a park neither frequented. Cameron arrived tense. We need to talk about this, he said. The media attention, the gossip. It's affecting both our lives. I know, I'm sorry, I didn't think. That's the problem. You didn't think. You found me, and you decided we should build something, but you never asked if I wanted my life exposed. If I wanted to be the hero in every headline. Cameron's frustration was clear. I've spent 12 years rebuilding privacy. Now everyone knows my story. I'll issue a statement. Make them stop. You can't make them stop. You're a public figure. I'm not. We exist in different worlds. So what are you saying? We should stop seeing each other? Cameron looked away. I'm saying maybe everyone's right. Maybe this is you trying to fix guilt, and me being flattered by attention from someone successful. Maybe we're both using each other for the wrong reasons. Or maybe we're two people who've been stuck in the same moment for 12 years, and finding each other is how we move forward. That's what you want to believe. But Vivian, I can't be your redemption, and you can't be my rescue. They sat in silence, the weight of reality crushing the fragile hope they'd been building. A week of silence followed their park conversation. Vivian threw herself into work, trying to ignore the hollowness. Cameron continued coaching. Construction, his normal life. Then Cameron called. Can we talk? Actually talk, not dance around things. They met at the diner. Their place now, by unspoken agreement. Both ordered coffee, neither wanted. I need to tell you something, Cameron started. About that night. About why I ran toward your car. You were a good person who saw someone in danger. That's what I told myself. But the truth is more complicated. Cameron took a breath. I'd been running, training, pushing myself because the Olympic trials were 6 months away. I was exhausted, angry because my times weren't where they needed to be. And I saw that car flip, catch fire, and my first instinct was to keep running, to not get involved. Vivian stayed quiet, letting him talk. But then I saw your face through the window. Young, terrified, unconscious, and I thought about my little sister. She was 16 then. If she'd been in that car, I'd want someone to save her. So I ran toward it instead of away. Not because I'm a hero, because I was thinking about someone I loved. That still makes you a hero. Does it? Because I've spent 12 years wondering if I made the right choice. My leg shattered. My Olympic dreams died. My scholarship ended. Everything I'd worked for since I was 8 years old, gone in one moment. Cameron's voice cracked. And I know that's selfish. Your life was saved. That should matter more than my career. But it doesn't erase what you lost. No. And I've been angry about that. Not at you. You didn't ask to be saved. But at the situation. At the drunk driver who caused it. At the universe for making me choose between my future and your life. Cameron met her eyes. I'm not the selfless hero you've been searching for. I'm a guy who made an impossible choice and has been struggling with the consequences ever since. Thank you for telling me. Now your turn. Why have you really been searching for me? And don't say gratitude. Vivian stirred her coffee, buying time. You're right. It started as gratitude, but it became something else. I was 20, pulled from fire by a stranger, and when I woke up, you were gone. Everyone told me to move on, but I couldn't, because some part of me felt connected to you, like we'd shared something so intense that it couldn't just end. Trauma bonding? Maybe, probably. But over 12 years? Building a company to honor what you did? Rejecting every man because they weren't you? Vivian forced herself to be honest. I fell in love with the idea of you, with the sacrifice, the heroism, the impossibility of finding you. And now that you're real, I'm terrified. Of what? That you won't love me back. That this has all been fantasy. That 12 years of searching ends with rejection. Cameron was quiet. Then, I don't know how to love a billionaire. I don't know how to exist in your world. But Vivian, from the moment you showed up at that construction site, I've been terrified too, because some part of me wants this. Wants you. And I don't know if that's real, or if I'm just lonely and you're offering something I thought I'd never have. So what do? We're honest. Brutally, uncomfortably honest. No fantasy, no hero worship, no guilt. Just two people figuring out if there's something real underneath all the baggage. Can you do that? Can you see me as just Vivian, not the girl you saved? Can you see me as just Cameron, not your perfect hero? Neither had an answer. But sitting in that diner, sharing their fears and flaws and complicated truths, they'd taken the first step toward something real. 2 weeks of brutal honesty followed. They met almost daily, stripping away illusions. Vivian talked about her privilege, her guilt, her fear of never being enough. Cameron talked about his resentment, his lost dreams, his struggle with being seen as valuable without his athletic identity. I don't know who I am without running, Cameron admitted one evening at his track practice. For 20 years, that's all I was. Cameron Wright, future Olympian. Then the accident, and suddenly I was just Cameron Wright, guy with a limp. You're so much more than that. You coach these kids, volunteer, contribute. But is that enough? Is that a life worth the sacrifice? Cameron's frustration was palpable. You asked why I disappeared. Part of it was pride. Part was not wanting to be the hero, but part was shame. I saved your life at the cost of my own dreams, and I couldn't face what that meant. Your dreams aren't dead. They're different. That's what people say when dreams actually die. They're just different. No, they're gone. And I've spent 12 years pretending I'm okay with that. The raw pain in his voice broke something in Vivian. I'm so sorry. Don't be sorry. Be honest. Could you actually love someone like me? Not the hero from your memory? Me, a construction worker living in a boarding house, coaching kids for free, limping through life without the glory I was supposed to have? Yes, I could. I do. Even though being with me means stepping down from your pedestal? Even though your board questions it? Your family's ashamed? Your friends think you're having a breakdown? Yes. Why? What do you actually see in me? Vivian thought carefully. I see someone who made an impossible choice and lives with integrity despite the cost. I see someone who turned loss into purpose. I see someone real in a world of performed perfection. That's more valuable than any Olympic medal." Cameron pulled her close, and for the first time, they kissed. Tentative, scared, honest. No fantasy, no hero worship. Just two damaged people trying to find healing in each other. But reality intruded quickly. Jonathan Webb threatened a board vote about Vivian's leadership. "If you continue this inappropriate relationship, we'll have to question your judgment in all areas." Her mother issued an ultimatum. "End this, or we cut you off from family functions. We won't be humiliated by your poor choices." Cameron's landlord raised his rent, citing increased attention from Vivian's visits. His co-workers made jokes he couldn't laugh at. Parents at the community center whispered about whether he was using the rich white woman. The pressure built until Friday night, when Vivian arrived at Cameron's building to find him packing. "What are you doing?" "Leaving. Denver. This situation." Cameron didn't stop packing. "We were delusional thinking this could work. Your world won't accept me. Mine won't accept you. And we're both drowning in everyone else's opinions. So we leave together. Go somewhere no one knows us. And live on what? Your money? That's exactly what everyone says I want. No, Vivian. I won't be kept by you. I won't be your project or your redemption or your delayed love story. That's not what this is. Isn't it? Be honest. Would you have looked twice at me if I hadn't saved your life? Would I matter to you if not for guilt? You saved my life. That happened. I can't separate who we are now from where we started. Exactly. We're not real. We're a story you've been telling yourself for 12 years, and I'm tired of being a character instead of a person." He left that night, quit his job, disappeared again. And Vivian was back where she started, alone with a grainy photo and the crushing realization that finding him hadn't brought closure. It had just revealed how impossible their situation really was. For 2 months, Vivian didn't search, didn't hire investigators, didn't track Cameron down. She'd promised herself if he left again, she'd respect it, even though it was killing her. Crosstech thrived. She threw herself into work, into the scholarship program, into anything that didn't require feeling. Her board was relieved. Her family was pleased. Everyone said she looked better, healthier, more focused. She felt dead inside. Then, a letter arrived. No return address. Postmarked from Colorado Springs. "Vivian, I'm sorry for leaving the way I did. I'm sorry for a lot of things. I've spent 2 months working construction in Colorado Springs, thinking about what you said. About us. About whether love built on sacrifice can become something real. I don't have answers. But I have something I need to show you. If you're willing, meet me at Boulder Memorial Hospital, October 15th, 3 p.m. The anniversary. Where it all started. Cameron, October 15th. The anniversary of the accident." Vivian's hands shook holding the letter. She told no one. Just drove to Boulder on the appointed day, arriving at the hospital at 2:45. Cameron was already there, standing outside the emergency entrance where he'd been brought 12 years ago. "You came," he said. "Of course I came. Follow me." Cameron led her inside, to a conference room where a dozen people waited. Young adults, teenagers, a few older individuals, all looking at her expectantly. "I don't understand," Vivian said. A young woman stood. "Hi, I'm Jessica. I received a Crosstech scholarship 3 years ago, paid for my computer science degree. I'm now a software engineer." Another person. "I'm Marcus. Your foundation funded my medical school. I'm doing my residency in pediatrics." One by one, they introduced themselves. Scholarship recipients, mentees from programs Vivian had funded, people whose lives had changed because Crosstech's foundation existed. "I brought them here because I needed you to see something," Cameron said. "You've spent 12 years thinking my sacrifice was wasted, that I gave up my future for yours, and that debt could never be repaid. But Vivian, look at these people. Your life, the one I saved, has created futures for dozens of others. Hundreds, probably. My sacrifice didn't just save you, it saved all of them too." Vivian felt tears streaming. "Cameron, let me finish. I left because I couldn't see past my own loss. I was stuck in what I'd given up instead of seeing what I'd helped create. These past 2 months, I've been coaching a youth track team in Colorado Springs. Got to see a kid break his personal record. Got to watch him realize he's capable of more than he thought. And I realized, that's what I gave you. The chance to be more than you thought possible. And you took that gift and multiplied it." Jessica approached. "Mr. Wright, thank you. for saving her, for making all of this possible. Cameron smiled through his own tears. Thank you for making it mean something. After everyone left, Cameron and Vivian stood alone in the hospital parking lot where it had all begun. I love you, Cameron said. Not because you're a billionaire or because you've been searching for me, but because you took the life I saved and made it matter. Because you're brilliant and driven and you carry guilt that isn't yours to carry. Because with you, I'm not just the guy who lost everything. I'm the guy who made a choice that changed the world, even in small ways. I love you too. Not because you're a hero, because you're human and flawed and you made me see past my privilege. Because you challenge me and you're honest and you taught me that some debts can't be repaid. They can only be paid forward. So what now? Now we stop trying to fix the past. We build a future. Together. Real, complicated, imperfect, but ours. Cameron pulled her close. Your world's not going to accept me easily. Then we build a new world, one that has room for both of us. They kissed in the hospital parking lot, 12 years after the moment that connected them. Not as hero and survivor. Not as billionaire and construction worker. Just as Cameron and Vivian, two people who'd been broken by the same moment and were choosing to rebuild together. CTA. Hello, the Shade of Love family. So happy you're here. Before we jump into the next part of the story, tell us, where are you watching from? Drop your country and state in the comments. Also, how's the story been so far? We love reading your thoughts. Yes, every single comment. And it really keeps us motivated. Let's aim for 50 comments on this video. Think we can hit it? Your support means the world, so don't forget to comment, share, and keep the energy flowing. Vivian's next board meeting was different. She walked in holding Cameron's hand. This is Cameron Wright, she announced before anyone could speak. The man who saved my life 12 years ago. The reason Crosstech exists. And the man I love. If the board has a problem with that, I'm prepared to buy you all out. Silence. Then Jonathan spoke. How much would that cost? Every penny I have. But I'll do it if that's what it takes to live authentically. Patricia Chen surprised everyone by laughing. Sit down, Vivian. We're not voting you out. We just wanted you to fight for something. For 12 years, you've been running Crosstech like penance. Now you're running it like someone with actual stake in the future. That's what we needed to see. So you're okay with this. We're okay with you being decisive. The relationship is your business. Just make sure it doesn't interfere with company operations. That evening, Vivian held a press conference. Major news outlets attended, cameras rolling. I've kept my personal life private for years, Vivian began, but I want to share something important. 12 years ago, Cameron Wright saved my life. He pulled me from a burning car at the cost of his Olympic dreams, his scholarship, his entire future. I've spent 12 years building Crosstech to honor that sacrifice, and I've spent 12 years searching for him to say thank you. Cameras flashed. Reporters leaned forward. I found him 2 months ago, and I discovered something unexpected. I didn't just owe him gratitude. I loved him. Have loved him since I was 20 years old. This isn't a rescue fantasy or trauma bonding or any other explanation people want to give. This is two people who were connected by an impossible moment, spending 12 years growing into people worthy of each other. Ms. Cross, a reporter called. Your relationship seems unconventional. He's a construction worker. You're a billionaire. He's a hero who chose compassion over self-preservation. He's a coach who transforms young lives. He's a man who rebuilt himself after losing everything. His net worth doesn't define his worth. Vivian's voice was firm. And if society can't handle a successful woman loving a working-class man, that says more about society's limitations than ours. The story went viral. CEO's 12-year search ends in love ran in every major outlet. Social media exploded with reactions, some supportive, some critical, most fascinated by the delayed love story. Cameron did his own press conference, organized by the community center. Surrounded by the kids he coached, he spoke simply. I saved Vivian's life because it was the right thing to do. Didn't expect recognition or reward, but what I got was better. I got to watch her take that second chance and create opportunities for thousands of others. That makes my sacrifice meaningful. And falling in love with her? That's just the bonus. A kid asked, Coach, do you regret not going to the Olympics? Cameron knelt to the boy's level. I regret the injury. I regret losing my athletic career. But I don't regret the choice. Because that choice led me here. To you. To this community. to a life that matters even without medals. Sometimes the best future isn't the one you planned. It's the one you build from what remains. That night, Vivian and Cameron had dinner at the community center, a potluck celebrating their announcement. Families who'd gotten to know Cameron, scholarship recipients who'd benefited from Crosstech, strangers who'd been moved by their story. "This is better than any gala I've attended," Vivian said, watching Cameron play basketball with the kids. "Different world," Rachel observed. She'd come to meet Cameron properly, to see what Vivian saw in him. "Better world, more honest. You're really doing this? Merging your life with his?" "I'm not merging anything. We're building something new, together." Cameron returned, sweaty from playing with kids, looking happier than Vivian had ever seen him. "Ready to go home?" he asked. Home. They'd rented a place together, not in Vivian's wealthy neighborhood or Cameron's boarding house, but somewhere in between. Compromise, balance, building from the middle instead of forcing either to inhabit the other's extreme. "Ready," Vivian said, taking his hand. They left the community center together, both transformed, both healing, both finally moving forward from the moment that had defined them for 12 years. 6 months later, Vivian and Cameron stood on a stage together. Crosstech's annual scholarship ceremony, now renamed the Wright Foundation in Cameron's honor. "We're awarding 50 scholarships this year," Vivian announced, "to students who've faced systemic barriers but demonstrate excellence and resilience. Students like Cameron was. Students who deserve opportunities that circumstances tried to deny them." Cameron stepped forward. "I'm not going to lie. Losing my Olympic dreams hurt. Still hurts sometimes. But standing here, seeing 50 young people get chances I lost, makes that sacrifice worth it. You're what happens when one life saved creates ripples. You're proof that heroism isn't wasted if we pay it forward." The ceremony ended with standing ovation. Afterward, Cameron's mother, who'd flown from Alabama, hugged Vivian tight. "Thank you for loving my son, for seeing past the injury to who he really is. He's the easiest person I've ever loved." That evening, they returned to their apartment. Not a penthouse, not a boarding house, just a 2-bedroom in a middle-class neighborhood where they could both belong. "You know what's weird?" Cameron said, lying beside her on the couch. "I spent 12 years angry about what I lost. But if I hadn't run toward that fire, I wouldn't have this. Us, the foundation, the kids, a purpose that matters more than Olympic medals. Doesn't mean you don't miss running. I miss it every day. But Vivian, I've learned something about sacrifice. It's only wasted if you let it be. You took my sacrifice and built something beautiful. That's not waste. That's transformation. We built it together. The foundation, this life, us." Cameron pulled her closer. "My therapist says we're a miracle. 2 people who shouldn't work but do because we're honest about our damage. Trauma bonding that became real love. Is that what this is? I don't know, and I don't care. I just know that I'm happier with you, limping beside me, than I ever was alone in a penthouse." They sat in comfortable silence, watching the city lights through their modest window. So different from where they'd started, her in wealth and privilege, him in athletic glory. Both had lost those identities. Both had found something better. Vivian's phone buzzed. Her mother, "Your father and I watched the ceremony online. We're proud of you, both of you. Dinner next week? Progress. Slow but real. My family's trying." Vivian showed Cameron the text. "Mine always did. Difference is, yours had to learn you were serious. About you. About us. About building a life that looks nothing like what they planned. Regret it? Not for a second. You?" Cameron kissed her forehead. "I regret the accident, the injury, the years I spent angry. But you? Us? This life we're building? 0 regrets." Later, lying in bed, Vivian thought about the photo she'd carried for 12 years. It was in a frame now, on their dresser, beside a recent photo of them together. Past and present, memory and reality. She'd spent 12 years searching for a hero. She'd found a human being, flawed, damaged, real, and that was infinitely better. Cameron was right about sacrifice. It was only wasted if you let it be. They'd both sacrificed. Him, his Olympic dreams, her, the comfortable numbness of guilt-driven success. They'd both transformed those sacrifices into something meaningful. 50 scholarships, a foundation, a love built on brutal honesty instead of fantasy. A future neither had planned, but both were building with intention. The delayed love story everyone talked about wasn't really about the 12-year gap. It was about two people learning to be worthy of each other, learning that some connections aren't immediate. They require time, growth, transformation. They'd both changed, both grown, both become people capable of loving without rescue, without guilt, without the weight of unpayable debts. Just Cameron and Vivian, former Olympic hopeful and billionaire CEO, current coach and foundation director, partners building a life that honored sacrifice by refusing to be defined by it. Outside, Denver, sparkled with possibility. Inside, two people who'd been connected by fire finally stopped burning and started healing. Together, finally, gloriously together. The end